Okay, I think we'll just get started if that's okay with you.
Yes.
I was waiting to see if Brian Golden would come, but he may, and we'll welcome him when he gets here. Hello, everybody. I'm Andrea Kelly. I'm the chair of the Land Use Committee meeting. This is a slightly regularly scheduled meeting. We usually meet on the first and third Tuesdays of every month, but last Tuesday was a vacation week, so we're meeting this week instead. Um, Present with us at the beginning of this meeting from the Land Use Committee from Ward 1, we have Vice Chair Allison Leary. From Ward 2, we have Councillor Tariq Lucas. I'm from Ward 3. We have Councillor Randy Block from Ward 4, Julie Irish from Ward 5, Sean Roach from Ward 6, and Stephen Farrell from Ward 8. I'm hoping we will be joined by Brian Golden from Ward 7. Again, I'll welcome him when he comes, if he comes. We have several staff members with us tonight. Cassidy Flynn, who's our committee clerk. From the planning department, we have Zach Melcher. We have Kat Kemet. We have Sandria Berman. From the law department, we have Jonah Temple. If anyone else comes, I will try and identify and welcome them too. Other counselors so far we have with us I saw Counselor Maliki, also from Ward 3, and we may have others join us, but we're going to get started just so that we're efficient tonight. Our first item is number 92-26, which is a request to vertically extend non-conforming front setbacks at 55 Auburndale Ave. For some of you who are new to this, how we're going to run this, as we typically do, is first we'll hear from the planning department. Then we'll hear from the petitioner. Then I'll also open it up the public hearing and hear questions and comments from the public. Then we will take it into the committee and extend that also to other counselors. So first, we'll hear, I believe this is going to be Zach Melcher from the
Yep,
planning department talking about this project. Thank you.
I'll
Go.
go ahead and share my screen.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Melcher, Planning Associate for the City of Newton. I'm presenting petition number 92-26, 55 Auburndale Ave, which is a special permit request to vertically extend non-conforming front setbacks. The petitioner is proposing to raise the roof of the dwelling to accommodate living space within the attic level. For the neighborhood context, it's located in a single residence 3 district in West Newton and is improved with a single family dwelling constructed in 1929. There's also an MR1 district located across the street. The property is located on a corner lot, which results in 2 front setbacks from Harold Terrace and Auburndale Ave, and the surrounding properties appear to be 2 or 2.5-story single family homes. For the zoning relief, the petitioner is seeking relief to vertically extend the non-conforming front setbacks, 19.9 feet from Auburndale Avenue and 16.2 from Harold Terrace, where 25 feet is the requirement in this zone. It does not qualify for the by right relief under the de minimis provisions because the construction adds 245 square feet within the front setbacks, and which exceeds the 75 square feet limit permitted by the ordinance. As a result of the construction, the height will increase from 29.1 to 34.1, but will remain below the 36-foot requirement. And the proposal will comply with all other zoning requirements. In terms of the criteria, we just have one today with this application, which is the proposed addition that vertically extends the non-conforming front setback is not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming is to the neighborhood. Sorry, let me just, sorry, it's just, okay. Can you see the PowerPoint or no?
We're looking at a slide that says criteria to consider.
Okay, sorry, I was just moving stuff around. I don't know what happened.
There we go. We're back.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Planning analysis.
Yes.
Okay.
For the analysis, like I previously mentioned, they're proposing to raise the roof of the dwelling by 5.5 feet to accommodate living space at the attic level. Planning believes that the work proposed will have minimal impact on negative impact on abutters because the construction is entirely within the existing footprint of the building, and the construction does not affect the rear or the side setbacks. And that will conclude the presentation. I will stop sharing and return my screen back to the committee.
Great. Thank you, Zach.
Sure.
I'm going to go to the petitioner next, but I should mention that we don't usually meet virtually only. I think most of you are probably aware of this, but because City Hall was closed today due to the storm, we're meeting virtually only. So this is a different kind of format than the land use committee is used to having. We usually hybrid, so you can come in person and or via Zoom, but tonight we're just via Zoom. Is the petitioner or someone representing the petitioner here to speak to that? Is that Lewis MX? Cassidy, can you unmute Mr. Lewis, perhaps? No, you're still muted. Can you unmute yourself at this point? There you go.
There I am.
Go
Great.
ahead.
How are you? Well, Zach, you did a phenomenal job summarizing the project. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So I really I can share my screen and show you what we're proposing.
Just let us know who you are first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mark Lewis. I've been practicing in Newton for over 40 years. I live across the street from the Murnane family, and I've known them for a while.
So your address is what?
I'm at 42 Auburndale Avenue.
Thank you.
So I've got a lot of feedback going for some reason. Okay, let me just figure this out. Give me 1 second. Can you guys all see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so as Zach mentioned, this is the site plan here. And you can see the gray area here is the existing buildable area. And where our real big problem is with the side and rear setbacks. And I'm going to go to the next, because that zooms in on it. Here's our area right here where we're 8 feet 2 within the setback on the side, Harold Terrace, and then 6 foot 4 within the setback on the Auburndale Ave side.
So the gray area is the existing and the hatched area is the proposed that you're talking about.
Yeah, the gray area is the allowed buildable area with the existing setbacks. And that's what I'm trying to be clear. So that's this area here. So, and then the hatched area is the area that is within the setback and is non-conforming.
Okay.
And then this other funny little hatched area is an allowable area that within the setback that is allowed. So I can sort of go through the plans quickly. This is all the existing. I think you've seen this. So we're talking about bringing the ridge up to about 5.2 feet here, extending this line up here. It was a difficult design process because it's a gambrel and it's kind of hard to work with, and we didn't really want to rip off the entire second floor and have to build back up. So we came up with the design to just extend up and come across. So, and this is what we came up with here. You can see the extension of the roof to the top here. And then we'd be adding 2 dormers in the front and then another dormer in the back. And I can show you, this is the section that kind of shows the best example. You can see the dotted line of the existing gambrel roof here. And this is the extension of the ridge, that 5.2 feet. The rear dormer is right here, 2 front dormers on this side right here. This is just another side cross section here, looking at the back dormer through the new bedroom and bathroom. And that's generally it. I've been, like I said, I've been working in the city for 40 years now. I have a tremendous respect for the process. And I tried to do this as delicately as possible. So if there's any questions or anything else you need me to show, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, there will probably be some questions, so thanks for sticking around. We have now been joined on Zoom by Councillor Golden, who's a member of the committee. He's from Ward 7, and also Councillor Pam Wright, another colleague from Ward 3, is here. All projects tonight happen to be in Ward 3, so you've got good attendance by all three of your Ward 3 councillors tonight. Okay, thanks for that update and your, as you call it, delicate approach. We may have questions about that. Are there any members of the public who would like to do any questions or comments or make public testimony on this? Just raise your virtual hand. Mary Reardon Lewis. Go right ahead, please.
Well, obviously, I'm related to the architect and to the neighborhood, but I'm also a realtor, and I thought it kind of important to stand up and say it's a good option to keep a great family in the community as opposed to having them have to leave actually the town that John grew up in. And they've begun to run, when they moved in, they didn't have kids, and now they've got three. And they're not bursting at the seams, but they could use some space. And it's a nice solution to keep some great people in the community and not have to lose them to another town because Newton's becoming so unaffordable. So these types of projects to me are a nice affordable option to keep the community family centric. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Ms. Reardon Lewis. We like to keep our residents in town too, and we like people to stay in their homes if possible. So great point. Any other members of the community like to speak or ask questions on this? John Murnane?
Sorry, I forgot to introduce John. Yeah.
I see
John
his
and
hand
Anna.
up, so I was
John
just
is
going.
here, the
John, would
homeowner.
you like to say something?
I would. I grew up in Newton. I went to Newton North, and my wife went to Newton South. We love it here. And Burr has been phenomenal for all three of our kids. And this, we've been talking to Mark about these plans for a couple of years now. And we think that this is a compromise because we're not changing the footprint of the house. We're not knocking it down, but we're getting the space that we desperately need so our kids can each have their own bedroom. We have an autistic daughter who desperately needs her own space. Otherwise, we would try to figure something out with the existing space. But this is something that we're really excited about. And again, we love the neighborhood. We love Mark and Mary and our broader neighborhood community here. And this would allow us to stay in the house.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So it's good to see people almost in person. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak? And if you are here or come on later, raise your hand and I'll get back to you. Right now, we'll take it into the committee for questions and comments.
If I could just for 1 second, I do have a little memo here from all of the neighbors that signed in support of this, which I'll send on to you. Just so everybody you sent a memo to sign this in support.
Is that sort of like
No,
a
but-
petition in support?
Yes, yeah, it basically, and I'll read it out to you. It says, "We, the undersigned stand in full support of the project being proposed by our neighbors, John and Anna Murnane. The Murnane family, who have 3 children, Connor, Lily, and Emma, are a vital part of our neighborhood fabric. The needs of their growing family greatly be improved by approving this project." And so far, I have 10 signatures on it of abutters and direct abutters, which I'll pass on to you.
Yeah, that would be helpful if you could email that to the committee and or to
I
our
will.
clerk. And then it can be part of the official record, which is very helpful. So thank you.
Great. And I just also wanted to note, and I know you have this on the application, that Historic District voted 5-0 in favor of waiving the demo delay and approved the plans as drawn as well. I think you have that information. I'll make that public record.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, we hadn't seen some of that before. It is helpful for us. Let's take it into the committee now. Committee members, any questions for the petitioner or for the planning department about this project? Councillor Lucas?
Thank you, Chair. I'll say this. I would hope all of our special permit requests were like this. It's pretty, straightforward. You're just looking to vertically extend the non-conforming setbacks. You have support of the neighbors. The relief that's being sought is minimal. Chair, this is Ward 3. When the time's ready, I'll make the motion to close the public hearing and move for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lucas. And we may want to hear from the other Ward 3 councillors too. Councillor Leary, you're next.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I have no problem whatsoever with this project. I love it when people work to, improve their homes, and it's important that we give people flexibility when their circumstances change. I don't see this as being any inconvenience to any of the neighbors, and I think it's important people be allowed to grow within their homes. So I have no problem approving this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Leary. Councillor Golden, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 5 seconds from Ward 7. I'm enthusiastically in support of the relief sought. It's a sensitively designed project. This is a really good approach to the family's need. Appreciate the sensitive outreach to the neighbors, and looking forward to supporting the petitioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Golden. Councillor Malachy.
Oh, right. Thanks. Yeah, I guess I would echo what Councillor Lucas said. I wish all special permits were like this. We're not supposed to, and I try not to consider how great the people are or that type of justification for a special permit. So what's I think great about this is that not changing the footprint, keeping the style of the house, keeping I would call it a vintage house, if not literally historic. And it seems like sort of a curiosity that the house is situated into setbacks when there's plenty of room in the lot. And so I don't see any problem with this. And it doesn't look like they're cutting any trees. So great.
No,
Thank you.
no trees. Thank you, Julia.
Well, as Julia was sort of referencing, most of Newton was built before zoning ordinances, so it's not at all unusual that there are peculiar situations of setbacks not being met, and that's part of why we have a special permit process, so we can consider each thing based on the pluses and minuses of the particular proposal on site. Anyone else have any questions or comments? I'd like to say too that I appreciate Councillor Leary kind of referencing that we use existing criteria when we consider these things, and that was, planning department shows those at the very beginning, and it's not about how nice the family is, though it sounds terrific that this appears to be a nice family. Because we make a decision based on the property and the proposal and the structure and the building itself. But I too, Councillor Lucas is going to make the motion for me because it's my ward, but I will be very happy to support this. Also, if there are no further comments, we will then go to Councillor Lucas to close the public hearing and to make a motion. And then I will ask the planning department to I think that will probably be you again, Zach, to talk about the findings and conditions, and we'll take a vote. Councillor Lucas.
Thank you. I move to close the public hearing.
All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Everybody? Yes. Anyone opposed to that? No. And the next motion is?
Move to approve.
Great. Now let's hear the findings and conditions from the planning department.
I'll just go ahead and share my screen again.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep. Okay. So this is the draft order of conditions for 55 Auburndale Ave, which is a special permit to raise the roof of the dwelling to accommodate living space within the attic level, vertically extending the non-conforming front setbacks. There's just one finding, which I will go ahead and read. The proposed addition that vertically extends the non-conforming front setback is not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure is to the neighborhood because the project adheres to other applicable dimensional regulations such as floor area ratio and height, and the addition which extends the nonconformities is within the footprint of the existing dwelling. And then there's information about the petitioner and the relief. And then we have the standard plan referencing condition, the building permit condition, and the certificate of occupancy condition. And that concludes the review of the draft order conditions.
Thank you. If there are no questions about any of that from the committee, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote. Cassidy, please read our names.
Counselor Block,
Aye.
Counselor Farrell,
Aye.
Counselor Golden,
Aye.
Counselor Irish,
You're muted, Counselor Irish. Can you unmute yourself? Cassidy, can you unmute her? Or you raise your hand if you're going to vote in favor. Thank you, Counselor Irish.
Counselor Kelly,
Aye.
Counselor Leary, Counselor Lucas,
Aye.
Counselor Roach.
Aye. Aye.
The motion passes 8-0.
Good luck with your project. Welcome to
Thank
staying
you
in the
all
neighborhood.
so much. I really appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of the night.
Thank you. Again, we all wish that all the proposals before us were this straightforward and easy to.
I do too.
All right, our
All
next.
right.
Thank you. Good night. Feel free to stay if you'd like, but you would probably be happier to go about your business. The next item is number 93-26, which is a request to further increase non-conforming FAR at 1445 Commonwealth Avenue. Again, this time we're going to hear from the planning department first. Ms. Berman, I think that's going to be you.
Yes, that is, Madam Chair. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just bear with me.
Great, thanks.
Okay, and hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
And we will start from the beginning here. Okay, so we have here again petition 93-26, which is a special permit site plan approval to construct additions that further exceeds the existing non-conforming FAR. You'll note from this aerial map here that the subject property consists of an oversized 23,893 square foot corner lot at the intersection of Commonwealth and Avenue and Dartmouth Street in West Newton. The lot is improved with a 2.5-story single-family dwelling and an attached garage that was constructed in 1920. The surrounding area is zoned single residence 1, and it consists primarily of similarly sized lots improved with larger single-family dwellings. And the topography of the lot is largely level, with an overall grade change of approximately 4 feet. So for the zoning relief requested, the petitioner is seeking a special permit site plan approval to construct a 1-story mudroom addition, as well as a 2-story rear addition that further increases the non-conforming FAR of 0.32 to 0.35, where 0.26 is the maximum allowed as of right. Criteria to consider for this proposal: that the proposed addition that further increases the non-conforming FAR of 0.32 to 0.35, where 0.26 is the maximum allowed, is consistent with and not in derogation of the size, scale, and design of other structures in the neighborhood, and that the proposed increase in non-conforming FAR is not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure is to the neighborhood. In terms of planning's analysis, planning notes that the proposed additions would further increase the non-conforming FAR by 0.03 to 0.35, where 0.26 is the maximum allowed as of right, but it will not substantially alter the existing footprint of the dwelling. The 10-foot extension of the non-conforming side setback of 11.5 feet towards the rear of the property for the 2-story addition is allowed by the de minimis provisions of section 7.8.2 and therefore does not require special permit relief. The required FAR relief adds a total of 683 square feet spread across the 1-story mudroom enclosure and the 2-story addition at the rear of the garage, with the rear addition not readily visible from Commonwealth Avenue or Dartmouth Street. Though the non-conforming FAR will increase to 0.35, the proposal includes a modest increase to the existing dwelling on an oversized lot, with the design of both additions unlikely to result in a significant negative impact on abutters or to the neighborhood compared to the scale and footprint of the existing structure. That concludes the planning presentation. I will stop sharing my screen and turn things back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Berman. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of the petitioner to add whatever information? Mr. Lee, nice to see you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Lawrence Lee on behalf of the Hennessy family who are in attendance this evening. Thank you for the quick introduction and the detailed summary of the petition. So this is rather straightforward. And with your permission, Chair, I would like to share my screen briefly and hopefully not duplicate Ms. Berman's efforts here.
Yeah, you have the advantage of going second, so you can skip the redundancy, but go ahead and share
That's
your
right.
screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So hopefully you can see that.
Yes.
Wonderful. So here we are, just a quick overview. We are in an SR1 zoning district, as Ms. Berman had mentioned. We're only asking for a slight increase of an existing non-conforming FAR of, which really amounts to 683 square feet of difference here. And one of the non-conforming extensions is a de minimis relief that is already permitted as of right under the de minimis provisions. These are the FAR calculations of before and proposed, and these are all in your materials. I can go back to any of these if you wish. And this is just a quick zoning map that shows the neighborhood. We have been in touch with our direct abutters. I believe you have received at least one, if not two, emails from our direct abutters in support of the project. Here's an existing condition site plan, and then a quick view of the proposed additions in between the existing garage and the main home to create the mudroom area. And this extension that Ms. Berman had mentioned is the extension of the rear of the garage, which really remains subordinate and really is not visible from the street. Here's an interior of the floor plans if you wish to look at the details of it. First floor being the mudroom here and the expansions in the back of the garage, and the little space above the garage, which is the second floor addition. Elevations for your view. Again, you can see that most of the work here is to the rear of the building. And so the folks, we really cannot see it from the streets. And I'm going to end with a couple of renderings, which Ms. Berman did not have, which is, as you can see, the proposed addition and a mudroom, and that's the existing conditions here. And the top picture being the proposed conditions with the proposed addition to the back of the property. Be happy to jump back to any of these pictures and slides if you like, and I will stop the presentation there and take any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Actually, those projected renderings and photos were very helpful, and I'm sure we all appreciate that you reached out to the neighbors. That saves us from having to ask you if you had done that. Are there any members of the public who have not already written to us but who would like to speak on this? If so, just raise your virtual hand. I don't see any, but if you change your mind, raise your hand later and I'll come back to you. I don't see anything. Let's take it into the committee and see what other committee members have to say or ask about this. Land use committee members. Pam, I'll get to you next. Councilor Lucas.
Thank you. Chair, I hope you will allow me to repeat my comments from the last petition. And it's good to see Mr. Lee again in land use. So, yeah, but it's only 683 square feet. That's a modest addition. And it's a very big lot. So again, was it 0.32 to 0.35? Seems reasonable to me. So I will definitely support it.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Lucas. Councilor Leary.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I will just agree with my colleague, Councillor Lucas, on this one as well. This is another straightforward project, de minimis, no impact on the neighbors. Glad to see people are able to improve their homes that fit their lifestyle. I have no problem approving this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Leary. Councillor Golden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I echo the sentiment of my colleagues, Councilor Leary, Councilor Lucas. I support this, and again, appreciate that everything has been done just right here. But thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Golden. Councillor Roach. You're muted.
Mr. Lee, what is the mudroom I get, and it's interesting. You blew by it kind of quickly, but this home has two massive foyers, both one from the entrance and one from the rear, and probably were well suited to the 20s and are not well suited to the 2020s. So I get the mudroom, and as I've said, and I will say again and again, I think mudrooms should be something that can be dealt with administratively, don't require a special permit. I am, however, a little concerned about the studio and what the need for an additional 400 plus square feet is in a house that's already 75,000 square feet, 7,500 square feet. So is there any particular reason the petitioner wants to add another bedroom to this home?
I could take that.
Go ahead, Mr. Hennessy.
Sure. Yeah. My wife's family is from California, so we get her parents coming out for extended visits, as well as her brother and his family. And we have 4 daughters, so it just gets really crowded when they're here for like a month plus, which we like to have them, but it's just that's why we want it.
Okay. I'm probably going to abstain until the full council to think about this. I would be inclined to, inclined to support the mudroom. I'm less inclined to support the additional space.
All said, Councillor Roach?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wright.
Thank you. So, a mudroom would be great in this weather. Not having it now, I cannot totally understand that. And I'm very happy that you're not tearing down the house, you're keeping the house and adding on and making it in kind to what's there already. So I'm very supportive of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. I will echo Councillor Wright's comments about this. Granted, the scale is larger, there's more square footage involved than we saw in the previous one, but that's not what we're all about here. I do also think that I understand and am glad that you're going to adapt this home to suit the needs of your family in a way that is not going to be, intrusive for the neighbors. In fact, the abutters are in favor of it. So I will be happy to be voting in favor of this also. Anyone else? Councillor Malachy, do you want to say anything about this one or not? No, great. Okay. With no further comments for now, then let's go on and see the conditions and findings.
Chair, I move to close the public hearing.
Thank you. All in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
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 And then I guess the next motion will be.
Move to approve.
All right, now we'll hear the findings and conditions and then we'll vote on that.
All right,
Thanks,
just bear with me as I pull up that draft order. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
And we have here the draft order for 1445 Commonwealth Avenue, and that is a special permit site plan approval to allow an addition that will further exceed the maximum floor area ratio. Here are the findings: that the site is an appropriate location for the proposed additions that will result in an FAR of 0.35, where 0.26 is the maximum allowed as of right, and is consistent with and not in derogation of the size, scale, and design of other structures in the neighborhood, as the additions are subordinate in height and scale to what is existing. And item 2, that the proposed additions that will further extend the non-conforming FAR to 0.35 are not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure is to the neighborhood, because the additions do not substantially alter the existing footprint of the dwelling, are unobtrusive, and are located on a large lot. As we scroll down here, we have the petition number, the petitioner's names here, and I'll just ask the petitioners to review this and make sure that this information is correct as well. We have it here to be used for a single family residential, and the relief granted to further exceed the non-conforming FAR.
Yep.
And finally, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, the only thing incorrect is my first name is Adam, not Michael.
Oh, my apologies. Let me go ahead and make that correction right now.
That's
my
good to
husband's name
have.
is Adam as well. I should have gotten that.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Okay, thank you for that correction. And moving down here, we have the standard conditions here. We have the standard plan referencing condition under item 1, the standard building permit condition under item 2, and finally, the standard certificate of occupancy condition under item 3. So I'm happy to review any of these, but I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen for now to return it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Thurman. I love that we can immediately correct and change things right before our eyes. Thank you, Mr. Hennessy, for correcting that. It's good to have your name accurately reflected everywhere. I don't think there's any further conversation about this, so let's take a vote on it. Go ahead, Cassidy.
Counselor Block,
Aye.
Counselor Farrell,
Aye.
Counselor Golden,
Aye.
Counselor Irish,
Aye.
Counselor Kelly,
Aye.
Counselor Leary,
Aye.
Counselor Lucas,
Aye.
Counselor Roach.
Abstain.
The motion passes 7-0 with 1 abstention.
Thank you. So next it will come before the full council. It's a nice solid vote from the committee, and we'll see where it goes with the full council. Usually the full council follows a good solid vote from a committee. So don't worry too much about this yet, Hennessy's and Lawrence Lee. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for coming. Moving on to our final item for the night. This is not just an addition to an existing house. This is a tear down and a proposal to raise and totally rebuild. It's item number 94-26, which is a request to exceed FAR at 11 Richfield Road. Again, we'll start with an update from the planning department.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time. Hopefully everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
And right from the beginning. Excellent. All right, so we have here, again, a special permit site plan approval to raise an existing single family dwelling and construct a new larger dwelling that exceeds the maximum allowable FAR. You may recall that a former petition number 264-25 requested similar relief to exceed FAR for a raise and rebuild of a single family dwelling back in September. This was ultimately withdrawn without prejudice on December 9th due to end of term, and also to revise plans based on the committee comments. So you'll see here from the aerial map, the subject property is a 10,256 square foot lot located in a single residence 2 district in the West Newton neighborhood. The subject property is improved with a single family dwelling that was constructed in 1950. Abutting properties along Richfield Road include similar lot sizes, improved with single family dwellings. The subject property does include varied topography that slopes downward west to east and south to north. And the surrounding neighborhood includes a single residence 2 districts with further north multi-residence 1 and 3 districts, business 1 and 2 districts with mixed residential and commercial uses. In terms of the zoning relief requested, the petitioner is seeking a special permit to exceed FAR. And also, it is important to note that the plans that were provided for this petition also do require relief for facade ratio, which we know will go into effect on March 1st. This item of relief, however, was caught today by the planning department. Currently, the plans propose a 63.3% facade ratio, where 60% is the maximum allowed. So the petitioner can speak to whether they would like to request a continuance to revise the plans to be compliant with facade ratio, or request a continuance to advertise for relief for the facade ratio in addition to the FAR. In terms of the relief to consider, that the site, That the specific site in a single resident 2 district is an appropriate location for the construction of a single family dwelling resulting in an FAR of 0.46, where 0.38 is the maximum allowed as of right. That the construction of a single family dwelling resulting in an FAR of 0.46 or 0.38 is the maximum allowed as of right will not adversely affect the neighborhood. That there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians as a result of the proposed single family dwelling resulting in an FAR of 0.46. That access to sites over streets is appropriate for the types and numbers of vehicles involved. And finally, that the proposed FAR of 0.46 is the where 0.38 is the maximum allowed by right, is consistent with and not in derogation of the size, scale, and design of other structures in the neighborhood. In terms of the planning analysis, planning notes that the petitioner's proposal to construct a new single-family home meets all zoning requirements, including height, stories, lot coverage, lot area, setbacks, and open space, with the exception of FAR. The proposed height is 33.9 feet, where 36 feet is the maximum allowed, and 2 stories, where 2.5 stories are allowed as of right. The proposed number of stories is the same as the existing dwelling, which is 2. The proposed dwelling meets the dimensional setbacks of a through lot, inclusive of 2 front setback minimums of 25 feet and side setbacks of 7.5 feet, proposing an increase in the left west side setback distance from 8.2 feet, which is existing, to 15.2 feet, providing an increased distance to the side lot line and the abutter at 17 Richfield Road. Access to the site is appropriate, with the proposed curb cut remaining the same as the existing curb cut, reducing the likelihood that there will be an increased hazard to vehicles or pedestrians as a result of the proposed design. And while the proposed dwelling will be one of the larger homes on Richfield Road compared to abutting single-family residences to the east and west, the differences in the topographical elevations and variability of single-family dwelling sizes along Richfield Road make this proposal more compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. And that concludes the planning presentation. Go ahead and stop sharing my screen and turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Berman. Is there the petitioner or a representative for the petitioner here to speak to this project? For instance, Mr. C or an architect or somebody?
Yes, yep, so I'm here tonight too. My name is Peter C. I'm the homeowner on 11 Richfield Road.
I'm trying to see you. Are you on, are you on the screen?
Yes, I see myself right now.
Oh, there you are. Peter's iPhone.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you again.
Nice seeing you. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, give us just your name and address and go ahead and tell us more than we just heard about the project.
Yep. So my name is Peter C. I'm the homeowner on 11 Richfield Road. Currently, I reside at 28 Wade Street in Newton. So we bought this house about 1 year ago, and our intent here is to build a newer house on the property for generational living purposes. So my mother and my mother-in-law with my wife and daughter will be living here on the property. So back in September, we went before the committee and we presented the original plans and didn't get received too well. So we heard all the concerns and all the comments. So we went back to the drawing board and we hired a new architect and we came up with these new plans. So we understand that the facade ratio, we need to ask for the relief on that too. But tonight we would still like to present the plans and hear the comments from everyone. So I guess from here I'll turn it over to my architect Bob to present the presentation.
Is that Robert Williamson?
Yes, that is.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you. Yes, I'm the architect for Peter and his family, and happy to share my screen to present the drawings.
What is your address, sir?
I live in Melrose. I'm not a Newton resident. I'm at 78 Cochrane Street in Melrose.
Great, thanks. Are you a sole practitioner? Are you with a company, or just so that we know who you are?
Absolutely, yes. I'm a solo practitioner. I've been doing this work for, I guess, 16 years now.
Thank you.
So it's been
slides.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So when I started working with Peter on this project, we did have the background with the original design. I don't want to get into that, but that's why I was brought on, was to bring in a different perspective and bring the scale down of the house to something that we feel is more appropriate to the neighborhood and the site more specifically. The idea with this home is to try to make it feel like, you might have an original, main massing of an older home that might have gotten added onto on the left-hand side to make it into a more modern, wider home, but still, have a nice traditional form that, references traditional historical architecture in town. So that was the initial design thinking with how to approach this project. And what we did was just, come up with a layout and an overall massing that we thought was going to be a nice improvement for the neighborhood and meet the needs of the family. So I can go back to the exteriors, but quickly just, talking about the site and the layout. The basement is a walkout basement because of the existing site topography, sloping from the front towards the back quite rapidly. So a significant portion of the basement is counting towards the floor area ratio. Here's the first floor plan, second floor plan with 4 bedrooms, and then a bedroom on the first floor as part of the multi-generational design. No space in the attic. Roof plan. So the front elevation, we see, we're roughly about 5 feet higher from the existing roof ridge to the proposed. So, not a big increase given that we will be increasing ceiling height in the first and second floors. Rear elevation here with the walkout portion in the back, and then this side facing over here. Just quick building section showing various elevations and slopes. Now, if we look at the site plan here and the FAR, just our proposed FAR will be 4,760. The maximum required is 3,871, so it's about 889 over the limit. 673 square feet of that is from the basement, and 59 of that is from a cathedral ceiling on the second floor, where we count that as atria space, as you're all well aware. So on the first and second floor, it's not a large increase in terms of FAR if this were a flat site and there were no atria or basement space. And then we also have the site detailed engineering plans if there's any specific questions about the architecture or the site itself. And I'm all set with talking. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williamson. I suspect we may hear from some neighbors and members of the public, which is the next piece that will go to that. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment or ask questions about this? Yes, Barry Abramson and Chris Chu, I see you waving at us. Go ahead, please. You can unmute. There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Hi there.
I'm Barry Abramson, and this is my wife, Chris Chu. We live at 113 Chestnut Street,
It's on
at
the
the
corner
corner
of Richfield.
of Richfield. And we've lived there for 28 or
28 years.
plus years.
And, yeah, and our daily in and out is on Richfield.
Yeah, we very much are
That is
oriented
our
towards
street.
Richfield.
Yeah, that is our street.
We wrote a letter, or an email rather, on behalf of ourselves and the other owners and residents on the street, Kai Witt-Pennig and Stacy Wu at 5 Richfield Road, which abuts the house towards Chestnut. Mike McSally at 17 Richfield, who is the resident on the other side of the house, on that side of the street, and Monica Petrie and Karthik Jaraman at 20 Richfield Road, which is across the street from 11 Richfield. We don't know, we had responses from, a few of the counselors or members of the committee. We don't know if Everybody has read it, or given all the other things, including shoveling out, people are fully plugged into what we wrote. So it would take us about 3 minutes to read that email. May we do that?
Sure, go ahead. I'm not sure if everyone has had a chance to see it.
Okay, great. So if it's okay with you, dear,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'll try to speed through it. We, the owners and residents of homes on Richfield Road, are disappointed to once again see a petition for special permit site plan approval for relief from the FAR ratio allowed under zoning. When this came before the committee this past September, we expressed our objections, which were echoed by members of the committee, and these objections still apply. While the petitioner has scaled back their proposal from approximately 6,000 square feet to now 4,760 square feet, this is still 23% more higher than the 3,866 square feet allowed per the FAR restriction. At 4,760 square feet on this lot, the house would be out of scale with and loom over the neighboring houses on either side of it. As we and committee members noted in September, there is no public purpose or other compelling reason for allowing any relief from the FAR or any other applicable restrictions. And if the city's carefully formulated zoning restrictions are to have any meaning, relief should not be granted simply to satisfy the petitioner's desire to have a bigger house than allowed under the zoning. The petitioner cites as rationale for their request the desire to have a multi-generational home accommodating the couple, their child, and their parents, or two mothers, which based on the plans require a 6-bedroom, 6.5 bathroom house of 4,760 square feet. While the petitioner's purported desire to house their multi-generational family is not the neighbor's concern, nor would we think the committee's, we note that a new home of the allowed 3,866 square feet could readily be designed to comfortably accommodate a family of that size or even larger. Being limited to a house of that size would hardly constitute a hardship. We also note that all of the houses on this street, including three of the five houses have been expanded, they all conform with zoning. If the petitioner desired to construct a house of the size they propose, they should have purchased a site that was zoned to accommodate it. That likely would have cost more in Newton or a comparable area, or meant they might be locating in a less expensive area. By purchasing this property and assuming they could be allowed to exceed zoning, they are effectively asking the city and their neighbors to subsidize their site purchase. And we mean that subsidy, not financially, but in terms of bending of the rules of zoning, and for the neighbors, some diminution of quality of life. We further note that granting this petition would set a precedent, encouraging the demolition rather than renovation and expansion of serviceable existing houses, such as 11 Richfield, with attendant negative environmental impact, while granting of minor variances, especially to accommodate the particular conditions and constraints posed by expansion of existing homes, can sometimes be reasonable. It seems reasonable to expect and require a new house be designed to conform with zoning. We request that the committee provide a clear and unequivocal determination of this matter, rejecting the petition and guiding the applicant to conform to zoning restrictions. Should the petitioner choose to build a new home or expand the existing structure in conformance with zoning and other applicable restrictions, we will be happy to welcome Peter and his family to our street. Thank you. And dear, do you want to expand on that at all? And I've already said who it's from.
Right. So this was, pretty, everybody else on this little cul-de-sac road, there are 5 houses, and 4 of the 5 people, households have signed on to this.
And we have not, and the petitioner has not reached out to any of us to discuss this, as you know, was suggested in the September meeting. But understandably, because our position was quite clear then and it's quite clear now. So really wouldn't have cut much ice.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Sim and Ms. Chu. You know, typically we do like 3 minutes per person, but you were speaking on behalf of 4 or 5 households. So let you go a little over, and
Thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you for reading. I did want to be sure everyone had heard all your points. Are there any other, excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. Are there any other members? It's good that we're all on virtual tonight, by the way.
I would also add that if it weren't for the storm and the fact that we are at the moment, we're stranded in Philadelphia visiting our son, we couldn't get back. We would have reached out to the folks on Fairview
as well,
who we know one of them had expressed a concern. This house will kind of loom over them as well. And the other thing in terms of height is that we also noticed, and we don't want to distract people from the basic issue is FAR, but we can see from the design that the front elevation is being raised up, even though the site slopes back down towards the bottom.
it's a retaining wall on the front site, right, front
in
of
the
the
plan.
lot. In the
So,
plan.
you know,
Okay,
there are
thanks
other
again.
things about the design. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. And I think many of us are familiar with Chris Chu, who's also an architect, besides being a neighbor and a butter. So she comes with a different, you know, professional expertise towards this. Harvey, I see a hand raised. I don't see who you are. I see a black screen with a yellow hand raised. So if you would like to speak, identify yourself and have
Can
your
you
say.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I am.
Do you want us not to be seeing you?
No, I did. That I'm looking at a screen that's not in front of the computer. So I don't
Okay,
have a camera.
go ahead. Just give us your name and address and your comments or questions.
Okay, I am Harvey Fenton, 11 Fairview Terrace. I am the person that spoke at the first meeting on this. I have told the other folks of this meeting, provided them copies of what Peter says drawings were. I don't see them online. I have particular concerns as a butter from behind. I have to remember that the property between Richfield and Fairview is too narrow for 2 houses, so we get to see the back of 11 Richfield. If the screen, I'm sorry, if the drawing that shows the contour of the land were up, you would see how steep the land is here. So we are substantially below this property. We, as it stands now, we don't see the house very much. There's a lot of trees in there. It's like a mini forest. And my concerns are related pretty much to that. It looks like the 5 trees are going to be taken out, not replaced. An awful lot of the land area behind the house, the existing house, is going to be paved over the house. And I continue to be concerned about runoff issues, whether in fact you're going to, at some point, undermine the retaining wall. As I've spoken with Peter Tsay about the tree issue, and he said they thought maybe they would put in a couple of trees to replace the ones that are covering what looks like a cistern of some sort in the backyard. Which I don't understand its function, but it also interferes with drainage, property drainage. It's part of it. It looks like a planned drainage system, but I don't understand it. But the upshot is the available land area will be down substantially. I don't have issues with the size of the place, although it is huge, because we can't see it, at least now. So in a way it doesn't matter. But unless the trees get replaced, if some of them get replaced, it will become not an eyesore exactly, but it's just the back of a house. Not wonderful. So that's probably all I have to say about this.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fenton, for joining us again. 3 of the members of the Land Use Committee are brand new to the committee and did not hear this petition when it came before us last fall. So I also appreciate that you raised the issue of runoff and drainage, which I recall being a concern of some of the neighbors when we talked about this last fall too. I'm sure we can come back to it. We can have Mr. C address it, or perhaps Mr. Williamson, if there are other questions about that. Are there any other members of the public, though, before we get to the committee questions or comments on this, who would like to speak? I don't see any other hands. In a way, we've heard a letter from 4 neighbors and now Mr. Fenton. So I appreciate that we have had some neighbor input on this. Councilor Lucas, start it off.
I'll start it off again. Thank you, Chair. So Mr. C, did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So we heard from Mr. Abramson, excuse me, that you did not conduct a site visit or a neighborhood meeting. I just want to verify that.
I didn't do a neighborhood meeting. I went knocking on the doors. I got to quite a few neighbors, went around, say hi, and just try to show my plans, but some were not home. I did go visit Chris Shu's house. Hi. Yeah, but I guess you were away. Yeah, so I mean, I went a couple times and then you weren't there. So yeah, sorry, I didn't get to you. And then I did go around and visit. Didn't get like a lot of feedback. I mean, basically it was just a hi. I showed them my plans and yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons why we want the neighborhood meeting is so that we can avoid these conversations here in the public hearing. And you can hear the feedback from residents and potentially make changes to your project. I think we're going to have to hold this item no matter what, Chair, based upon the feedback that we heard from planning on the 60% facade, what do you call it, ratio ordinance,
Yes.
for better lack of words. We're going to have to hold that. And ultimately, you're going to have to determine if you want to post relief for that 60% or if you want to adjust the project to be under that 60% facade ratio ordinance. If you do go under the 60%, the project's going to get smaller. That is my take on it. And based upon the feedback that we heard from the people who spoke and from those who signed the letter, they want to see a smaller home there. They're not opposed to a home, but they would like to see a smaller one. Ultimately, that decision is yours, but that is my guidance to you. The other thing is, this is something I say to every petitioner who comes in when their lot coverage is up into the max, and you're at 29.5% and the max is 30%. If you go forward with that 29.5%, just be absolutely certain that you stay under the 30%, because if you were to go over the 30%, you would have to come back here for an amendment for the special permit. So those are my comments. Again, Chair, when ready, I'll move hold. And ultimately, it's up to you, Mr. C, if you want to go forward with this proposal and repost the relief being sought, or if you want to make the project a little bit smaller. That's all I have for right now, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Lucas. I will come back to you for some motions. It is very helpful for us to talk through it, even if we intend to hold it, because as we've seen before, this petitioner was responsive to our comments. And I think if they are going to come back, it would be advantageous to everyone for them to have specific things to respond to. So let's continue to talk about it. And I'm sure Mr. C and Mr. Williamson will be taking some notes on that. Next up, we have Councillor Leary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do remember this project coming before us last fall, and I appreciate that they have made some attempts to sort of resolve the concerns of the committee. However, I still think they have some way to go. I do think this is a significant ask. Whereas the FAR and other situations, when I look at it, I have to evaluate the need for it. Is there a hardship? How it would impact the neighbors? Here I have concerns also with runoff, flooding issues, and tree removal. I know that there's a process for that as well, besides our land use process. But we have a reason both for the facade ratio and for FAR to reducing oversized homes. And though I understand he's got a larger family, 6 bedrooms, 6.5 baths, and 4,760 square feet is a very, very large home for this street. And we've heard from the neighbors, so I think there's more work to get done. And I'm not convinced that they can't have a very comfortable, livable home for their family that meets our FAR rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Leary. Councillor Roach.
Hi. First of all, I have a question either for Mr. Lee or for Ms. Berman. The FAR calculation is based on 10,256 square foot lot, and the assessor's database has that as 9,015. So if we can get that checked, and if presumably this gets held, understand where one of those numbers is wrong, that would be terrific. Unless you know Ms. Berman now.
This is Kat Kemet from
Oh,
Planning.
sorry, Kat.
Happy to jump in here. The assessor's database is not always fully accurate on things like the lot size. Sometimes the owner is out of date. So generally we will go on the size that is on the stamped site plan rather than what's in the assessor's database.
Okay. I accept that. So we're gonna assume the 10,256 is the good number. Is that right, Ms. Kemet?
I don't have the plan open in front of me, but I believe so.
You'll take my representation. That's what's on
Yes,
the plan.
I will.
Okay. All right. The current home is not terribly distinguished, and I frankly think that it's a nicer looking home than the one that it would replace. It strikes me as very interesting that, like the earlier item, the excess over FAR is pretty much attributable to a mudroom and accommodations for family. And so I'm a little concerned about our being especially that we would make a decision based on in the one hand, neighbors not minding going over the FAR, and here the neighbors mind going over the FAR. Either the FAR means something or it doesn't. I wasn't inclined to vote and unlikely to vote yes on the prior item because it exceeds the FAR when there doesn't seem to have been any attempt to make do with the allowable FAR. And here I have the same problem. There's no compelling reason to make it this big. So I don't want to suggest that I'm not aligned with the neighbors here. I just think that we should be making a decision based on the zoning regulation, and this exceeds the FAR pretty substantially without any compelling reason to make it this big. And I want to note two things. There are 6 ensuite bathrooms in this proposal and 5 walk-in closets, and then fairly big size bedrooms. There's no reason. I don't mean to suggest that that's not something that you're entitled to have. It just, you can't make it work apparently with the zoning regulations, and so it just doesn't feel like enough work was done to make this compliant with our regulations. So, right, barring any substantial change, I am not inclined to recommend approval on this.
Thank you, Councilor Roach. Are there any other questions from Land Use Committee members? I see your hands up, Mr. Abramson, Mr. Chu. The public part is over, and I don't like to conduct a back and forth. I think unless you have something really compelling that we haven't heard that's important, we're set with you for now. I'm going to go to Councilor Maliki, but first I'd like to be sure that the other Land Use Committee members, for instance, Irish, Farrell, Golden, have had a chance to ask any questions or make, Councilor Block, let's hear from you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Just had to unmute there. I just want to add my support for the comments that all my other colleagues have raised so far about the concern regarding the size of the proposed residence. I also want to add that this street is a very small dead-end street, and that makes the size of the houses have an even greater impact on the neighbors. So as we're making the determinations that we are required to make, does this have an adverse effect on the neighborhood? It feels to me like this proposal would do so, and therefore I am inclined to vote against this at this time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Block. Anything from any other Land Use Committee members? If not, I would like to hear from Councilor Maliki.
Thank you. So Councilor Roach asked one of my questions about the lot size, and I would like to know why the lot size being presented to us is 1,200 square feet larger than what the assessor's database has it. I could understand small differences, but that's a pretty significant difference. And, to think that, the owner's been paying taxes on 1,200 square feet to less than is actually exists is a little hard to believe. So that's one question. I also have a question for, I don't know, perhaps the attorneys or the applicants. How did this get approved by, or did this go to Historical Commission? Because all I see is a statement by David Lewis, the staff person, that this was not considered historically significant, and there's no recorded vote or anything like that. So did the commission actually look at this? Were abutters ever notified of the demolition request?
Ms. Berman, do you have an answer to that? Or Ms. Kemet?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is my understanding that this was an administrative review of the property and it was deemed not historically significant. I do not believe it had went before a commission. I'm happy to follow up, though, with Historic Preservation to determine if there was any further review by the commission itself.
Yeah, I would like to get an answer on that because to me, I actually find the existing house quite attractive and certainly would have been worth a demolition delay on that because it is such an appealing house for a smaller family or a downsizing person. And if that type of thing is going to get administratively reviewed and approved for demolition without anyone being notified, whether it's abutters or the public via the agenda, that's a problem that we ought to fix. Beyond that, I basically agree with all the points raised by the abutters letter that we got. I think basically, if you want to have a 6-bedroom house, a 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom house, you needed to buy a bigger lot. I'm also concerned about any kind of tree loss in the back. that would affect the downhill people on Fairview Terrace. And I would not be voting for this when it gets to the full council. And I would not support any waiver of the facade ratio either. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maliki. I think we're definitely headed in a whole direction here, but in order to give some guidance to the petitioner, I too would like to, I was going to raise the point that Councillor Roach did about the size of the lot. And I think it is actually important that we are clear on the difference between the 9,000 and the 10,256 square feet. There are a couple of other points I'm happy to go over with the petitioner, Mr. Williamson, as I was reading the plans about where the building edge was constituted. Is it at the right back corner of the deck? I think I just want to be really clear on what's being counted here, where the deck intersects with the grade. And again, we've talked about the 60% facade thing. There are things that need to be flushed out more here before we move forward. Ms. Kemet, do you have your hand up?
I do. I just want to clarify, we do know the size of the lot, and it's 10,256 square feet. So there is no ambiguity in the size of the lot.
So how do we correct the assessor's database that's calling it 9,000?
We can raise that to the assessor, but there are, many lots in the assessor's database are not quite right. And once areas are surveyed, we sometimes get more accurate information, such as in this case.
Okay, I think everyone would feel more confident if we were clear on this. Councillor Wright.
Thank you. So I find errors in the assessor's database probably every month. And I just send it to the assessor's department and they clean it up within a couple of days.
Great. Let's do that. Do you have any other questions or comments on this petition?
No, everyone covered what I would have said.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for their attention, particularly the neighbors, Mr. Fenton and Mr. Abramson and Ms. Chu, on behalf of your other neighbors for speaking up. Mr. C, thank you for coming back and being open to the input that we have. Mr. Williamson, you've got a little bit of work cut out for you. Councillor Lucas, you were going to make a motion about I think we're going to keep the public hearing open and hold the item. Is that the motion that you'd like to be making?
So moved.
Thank you. I think Cassidy, automatically we do not need to vote on keeping the public hearing open. Is that correct, or do we need to do that?
No, you don't have to take a separate
That's what
vote.
I thought. Let's just vote on holding this, and I think we will do a voice vote. I know we have lost one member who needed to leave. He won't be voting on it because he saw it headed to hold, which is Councillor Farrell. So next time it comes back, we'll probably hear from him, but let's take a vote on holding this item at this time.
Do we want to hear, but quick question, Chair?
Yes?
Do we want to hear from the petitioner whether they want to possibly withdraw? Given the likely, like where this is headed?
Well,
Or
this is
no?
just headed towards a hold. Mr. C, is there a reason for you to think about withdrawing? Or would you like us? No,
No, hold is good. I'm not planning to withdraw.
That's what I imagine. Okay, but not a bad question. Councillor Roach, give him the opportunity. He can do that at any other point in the future. All right, let's take a roll call vote, please, on holding.
Councillor Block,
Aye.
Councillor Farrell, Councillor Golden,
Aye.
Councillor Irish,
Aye.
Councillor Kelly,
Aye.
Councillor Leary,
Aye.
Councillor Lucas,
Aye.
Councillor Roach.
Aye.
The motion to hold passes 7-0.
Or 6, or is that 7?
7.
It was okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for the input. Mr. C and Mr. Williamson, we will continue the conversation at another time. I appreciate everybody's participation. And we're all done shoveling for the day.
Continue to feel better, Councilor Kelly.
Thank you. Glad I didn't infect you all tonight. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.